So when you're thinking about a tool like Claude Code as a marketer, you're thinking about a variety of different use cases that you can actually practically use it for. And you're constantly investigating, maybe on YouTube, watching videos like this, maybe on LinkedIn or Twitter, or maybe reading a blog post. And you will see a ton of stuff coming from folks who have built a lot of crazy things using tools like Claude, maybe Codex from OpenAI, trying to automate everything that they do on a daily basis, building their second brain, maybe automating the research process, whatever it looks like. But the problem is all of that stuff is synthetic, meaning they're actually building all of that stuff to look cool, to show you the stuff that they've built and how good they are at using this technology, rather than actually giving you a transparent view into their day-to-day work and how they're practically using tools like Claude Code. So when I thought about recording this video, I didn't think about everything that I can do potentially for this video to show how Claude Code works for marketers, but rather I thought, how have I used it in the last few days, maybe in the last week exactly, as an organic growth strategist. So in this video, I'm going to show you 5 different things that I've used Claude Code for, where it actually practically saved me time and effort on a larger scale, where I have built some customized agents, some simple workflows, but essentially it's solving the pain of manual work. All of these are real problems that I've solved, mainly for this company that I work with. Let's jump in and I'll show you step by step how all of these problems were solved using Claude as an agent. So number 1 here is keyword research. I have built a customized agent which looks at a bunch of different keyword opportunities based on my direction and instructions already provided to it, along with the context it has connection with a knowledge base, and I'm currently building a library of agents, and it's one of those where it gets stuff done, gathers the research based on my direction, and then puts it in front of me for review, and then directly loads it up into a spreadsheet where we build content plans. For this, I use an open source platform called Paperclip, which then uses your Claude Code sessions or maybe your Codex sessions, your Cursor sessions to build a set of agents which you can then orchestrate as a company. You still have to run this inside VS Code, of course, but as you can see, we have a bunch of agents fired up, and the one that we're talking about here is the blog keyword research agent. I'm not going to get into a lot of depth for Paperclip within this video, but it's a pretty cool platform. It gets you a nice dashboard. It has a section for you to assign tasks and stuff like that. And then it also gives you a high-level org chart, which literally is a team of agents that you're building with a manager and stuff like that. So going back to the original idea, I used the keyword research agent a variety of different times for finding keyword opportunities. So for example, here we have the keyword research that I ran for commercial keywords, and it literally went into the spreadsheet and made relevant changes directly based on my instructions. Now, this is the spreadsheet where I normally load up all of the keywords if you want to go after for the next few weeks or months or whatever. And this was a test tab created by the agent itself when I was trying to build it in the first place. So afterwards, once this was done, by the way, these topics themselves were approved and they mainly came from this agent, and I don't think I had to make any tweaks. So what the agent did in the case of July, which is the current month, is it literally created a new tab similar to how I was already doing it for every single month, and literally went in and created all of this data right here with different categories of commercial keywords. Category keywords, which is, tools/software keywords like AI tools for affiliate marketing and stuff like that. And then also other keywords around competitors. So something similar to partner stack alternatives. And it already has the access to Ahrefs where it's pulling the data from. Plus it has direction on what kind of opportunities it should surface, which is mainly around affiliate marketing, since I've told it already that this is a goal for us to focus on. So as you can see, the task was pretty clear. Keyword research for commercial keywords, research as many commercial keywords as possible, and then put them into the spreadsheet, and it did exactly that. In other times, if I need to chat with it, I can also give it feedback, or I can assign subtasks. So it's pretty cool to work with, as long as you're actually thoughtful about the instructions that you bake into the agent. Now, just so you know, just like many other things with AI, I still had to make some tweaks and change things up. Of course, there were hallucinations as well. There were things that were irrelevant, but at the same time, it definitely saved me a lot of time and effort, because this initial set of research where I'm just collecting a universe of keyword opportunities is still hard and time taking. So even if I cut down the process by, let's say 50, 60, 70%, and it's improving every single run, by the way, it's still a win. All right, so we're on to the next one, which is chart redesign. So basically, for context, I have this website where I normally post original research that I conduct around AI search optimization. These are actual experiments and research studies that I'm conducting. And when I'm building something like this, for example, I need some help with these visuals, because when I build them, they're not necessarily in the exact right dark theme that I want to follow for the website. And if you go into, for example, this other study that I published, you can see that the colors are not exactly going well with the actual theme of the site. So for example, if I scroll down, you can see there are some white ones in here. There are ones with dark bluish background. So it's just not going really well with the theme of the website as a whole. So I wanted to fix that. So I just thought maybe I can spin up an agent for this. So this is one of the studies that I had in the Google Doc format before I published it. And as you can see, the visuals within it were white for the most part, because of course they were just created within a Google Sheet and not the best looking. So even if I could change the style of the chart and maybe, change the colors a little bit, it wouldn't look the best across everything from a design standpoint if I wanted to make it coherent with the website design. So I thought we can build this as an agentic solution. I went into Claude, first of all, as a web app and just asked it to redesign one of the images that I had, and it was this one. And if I can show you the original version of this, it looked something like this. So as you can see, it did a pretty good job of just redesigning the entire thing, keeping every data point accurate, the entire screenshot as it is, on point in terms of spacing and everything from a chart standpoint. So once I knew that it was possible, using that as a reference, I went into Claude Code and built this agent where now if I just give it a Google Doc link, it just scans the document on its own, finds all of the images, then adds the redesigned version of them beneath the original ones. So I can actually review, and if everything is good, it's good. If it's not, I can come back and provide any feedback, and I still have the original ones in there. Now, the final version of the doc itself, it was this one where, as you can see, the images were all redesigned pretty fabulously. And again, from a chart standpoint, the data accuracy is there. There's no hallucination. Everything looks perfect. And if I was to show you the first version that it created, where I still had to give some feedback, it was this one where, although it was not bad, it still felt like it made some mistakes and, not everything was pitch perfect. But finally it landed, and we got to a point where this is the comparison that you can draw, right? Everything worked fine. So a couple of things, as you can already see, for example, it didn't change the colors for all three of these charts. And in the final version, it did when I gave it some additional feedback. Even in VS Code, as you can see within my chat, there's some additional feedback that I provided, which was super in depth. But yeah, that actually made it happen, which means from this point onwards, I can just give it a Google Doc and not worry about redesign at all for any of these charts. And it will continue to do a really good job. And by the way, a quick lesson here. I could just extract all of the screenshots and then give it to Claude one by one, or maybe just buckle them all together and then wait a while for the images to be redesigned. But I want the process to be extremely frictionless. So I want it to be designed in a way that if I just give it a Google Doc link, it can do everything on its own for me end to end. All right, so the next one is backlink review. So we work with an agency for backlink campaigns, brand mentions campaigns. And if you've worked with one yourself, you know what the process looks like. They normally send you a bunch of domains for approval. And once they have your green light, then they go ahead and actually work on those backlink opportunities. So we're working with GrowthMate, and shout out to this agency, by the way. The process is pretty much the same, where they have all of these domains for us to review on a weekly, monthly basis. We review them, and the process again is pretty manual. I have to check the history of the website, their traffic levels, maybe domain rating, a couple of other things, just to make sure the website is not spammy, they're not hit by a Google update recently, they haven't lost a lot of traffic suddenly, stuff like that. But again, I realized that an agent can do this. So I went back into Paperclip and created another agent called Backlink Qualification Agent, which mainly just checks the set of opportunities provided to it in the spreadsheet directly and reviews them, literally changes the status, having checked all of the different benchmarks of different parameters like traffic, domain rating, maybe past history, identifying certain spikes in traffic loss or gain, things like that, which normally are associated with spammy domains, and then actually goes into the spreadsheet, changes the status to either approved or rejected, literally. And it's not just looking at the domain, it's looking at the anchor text suggestions, the target page that it's linking to, and just making sure that everything flows naturally. So as you can see, this exact task, I asked it to review the link opportunities and either mark them as approved or rejected from this range. And this is the exact link of the range of opportunities from the same exact spreadsheet. And at the end, the agent successfully completed the task. It said it's done, updated all 23 rows and marked them to approved or rejected, gave me a summary and just confirmed that it's done. So again, what would have normally taken me a lot of time just reviewing all of those domains one by one and then still relaying all of that feedback to the agency. The agent just got it done while I was literally eating food, and then I got back to the agency with some additional feedback so that they can also learn at the same time. All right, so the next one is content briefs. Now, this is not generation of content briefs, but rather building an entire system that helps you plan for them, build them, edit them, and then also assign them to the writers directly. So this is what I'm talking about. Again, this is something that I've built using Claude. It's pretty simple. When we think about creating content, we have content briefs, which are first of all coming from the keyword research sheet once the topics are approved. And then we're creating the content briefs on it, where we can still use some AI, use Claude, maybe Notion AI, where our knowledge base lives. So of course, we're already using AI up to some extent, but there's a lot of friction again, going from one tool to another, from ideation to building the brief and then to assigning it, all of that stuff. So again, if I want to automate as much as possible, I don't just want to automate the creation part of the content brief, which everyone else is doing. I want to take it to the next level where I don't even have to hop between different tabs and I can just focus on strategic items. So what this tool now does for me is it allows me to add multiple rows at the same time, right? As many as I want. I can put in the keyword, I can select the month, I can highlight if it's a new page or a content update. If I pick a content update, it's going to ask for a URL, whatever the page is, and I have to specify the page format if it's going to be how to guide a listicle and AI listicle, which I'll talk about in a second. And then it also allows me to pick whoever is the writer that I want to pick, some additional notes for any sort of guidance for the AI model. And then if I hit save, it's going to create a content brief just like this one. Now you may be wondering what would be the quality of the content briefs. It's actually pretty good. And this is something that we're actually using for our blog right now. So this is what the briefs look like. Of course, there are some formatting problems which we're still working on. It's not deployed yet, by the way. So we're still working on it, as you can see. But this is what it looks like. We have, the target keyword, page type, search intent, narrative angle, or, unique point of view, customer pain points, title tag, and then an outline at the end. Now, the quality of the briefs are going to depend on your instructions, your prompt, of course, but then also the knowledge base, which is pretty rich for us because we have a ton of documentation about our customer profile, product positioning, product features, all of that stuff. So there are literally dozens and dozens of markdown files coming from our product Bible on Notion, coming from our ICP documentation, a lot of other things. And then finally, we have this writers tab where we can literally add the email of writers. And it's also connected with my Google account. So it's using my OAuth credentials, which means it can also send emails. So if I just keep adding more writers, if we're working with more, right now we're working with Phil, it will help me draft the email and then also send it. So once I've approved the brief, as in I've made editable changes required, I've just went ahead and added some manual comments in there for the writer. I can click on draft email and it will create the email, send it to Phil, assign it with a particular structure of writing the subject line, writing the body text, all of that stuff. And again, it has a bunch of my references about how I talk to writers, so it will match the tone and everything will be end-to-end automated. Of course, there are instances where someone who's in charge of the blog content needs to still jump in and approve stuff, but that's exactly what your job should be at this point, where AI can do most of the tactical work. So AI creates the brief, but you approve it, you make changes, you get it polished. And then for the email, it can just do the job because it doesn't require a ton of input from your side. All right, so we're on to the last one, which is pricing update. So this is something that just happened a few days back. We updated Modash pricing on the website, which means our lowest plan, which is the essentials plan, got expensive by about $100. We used to sell it for about $199. Now we sell it for about $299. And that mention of pricing was there on the blog for so many years and it needed updating. What that means is there are hundreds of blog posts talking about Modash with the wrong pricing information and it needs to be updated. I think when the pricing change actually rolled out, we knew that we had to do it, and our gut instinct was that we're just going to do it manually. But then I was like, oh, we actually have Webflow API and we can actually do this pretty easily. So I just went into VS Code, fired up Claude Code, and we built an agent which will look at all of the mentions of Modash old pricing on each of the blog posts, even including multiple instances within a single post, and get everything into a spreadsheet like this, where we have the post title, the live URL, the CMS item ID, collection ID, the old text, what it looks like right now, and in the HTML format again, the new HTML, which you can just verify and say, oh, is everything replaced properly? So for example, here you can see from $199 a month, it changed it to $299 a month, right? And it did it for all of the posts And you can see even duplicates because the same pricing was talked about in maybe any particular post more than one time. So as you can see, I didn't even have to write anything. It just did the entire thing for me, prepared the spreadsheet. There were some cases that it flagged where it simply couldn't find accurate information properly. So it just flagged them as needs manual review. Those were, I think, in total about 5 to 6. I just reviewed them, removed a few, made some tweaks, but that was pretty much it. And in literally matter of, I think, maybe about 1 hour or so, we had the spreadsheet totally ready to be shipped on about 100 plus entries. Then all I had to do was ask Claude to go ahead and fire this up. It pasted everything properly, asked me to review everything again in the draft stage. And then once I said everything is all good, it went ahead and published the pricing, everything done and verified. So as you can see right now on Modash blog, you won't find the old pricing mentioned, and I haven't done any of that manually. So that's pretty much it. These are the 5 ways I've used Claude Code in the last few days. And to be honest, at this point, it feels like I have this muscle memory built where any new task comes up, my instant reaction is, how can I save some time on this? How can I automate it? At the same time, I still have an instinct to not get lost in the realm of automation and still think about strategic guidance for the models and still keep everything strategy related in my hand. But at the same time, I just want to make every single process as frictionless as possible. And you can start building these things pretty easily by just talking to this model and giving it access to a bunch of tools in the form of MCPs or APIs yourself. You don't have to be technical. I promise you, if you just get started, you will build some cool things. If this is your first time here, I'm Usman Akram, an organic growth strategist. I work with B2B SaaS companies to help them grow with SEO and AI search optimization. If you found this valuable, please subscribe, and I will continue to post some cool things, hopefully. Thanks so much.